Well, one thing that's pretty clear is that you have a beautiful home here. 20,000 square feet that you're selling.
It's for sale.
What's the asking price?
It was asking $35 million. Why? Because if you go anywhere on this, we're in a special little city here on a private beach.
Yeah.
If you go anywhere in our area on this beach, people are paying $8 to $10 million for a single lot, and knocking down a house. This house, the land alone has a value of 20 to 24 million. Okay? It's just, I can prove it. To build this house with the qualities that this house has, I haven't even had the contractor's bills that built it. Okay? You're going to spend minimum 25 million. You have to, with the bowling alleys and the lazy rivers and the quality of all this stuff. Okay, so here you are. You're somewhere in the neighborhood of 45 plus million. So I put it on the market for 35, and you'd have to wait 4 to 5 years to build it.
Mm-hmm.
So here we go. You could turnkey, walk into this house, less than what the replacement cost is. Okay, right now we lowered the price to 31.
Have you had any offers?
I've had about a half a dozen showings. But honestly, nobody has made me a realistic, legitimate offer that I would even consider.
Why?
Because people want you to carry, or, people want to do some creative stuff. They all had the money to buy the house because we pre-qualify them before we let them look at the house. But listen, it takes time. And the market is so small in this price range and in this area. Now, if this area was in South Florida, if this house was in South Florida, forget about it. It'd be worth $100 million.
Mm-hmm.
In certain areas, like the area you were talking about earlier. Okay.
So
but it is what it is. It's a great house. You just got to find the right buyer for it.
What happens if you can't sell it?
I just keep it. What am I going to do? I can't sell it. I keep it.
Would you sell or finance it?
No, I'm not listen, why would I have to sell or finance? I always say to myself, when people offer seller financing, beware. There's a reason why. Maybe it's helping them tax-wise, maybe. But typically, let them go to a bank. Why do I need to be the bank? Why can't they just take the down payment and go to a bank? Maybe the bank won't qualify them. Well, if the bank won't qualify them, why the hell would I qualify
What's
them?
your interest rate on this property?
Oh, I locked in a good rate on this thing.
2% interest only, right?
2.5.
So you could sell or finance
I'm good.
at 3.5.
Interest only for 15 years.
That's incredible.
7 years have gone by for 15 years.
So you get 7 years at 2.5%.
Wait. I got about 9 years left at a fixed rate loan, interest only on this house.
But you could make
a
1% or 1.5% if you sell or financed it at 4% or 3.5%.
For 7 years, yeah.
Yeah, but I wouldn't do it. Listen, I don't want to be the bank. I don't like loaning people money. That's not what I do.
Yeah, but you're loaning the bank's money.
And if
it's
that
not
person
really
goes
your
belly
money.
up, then what?
Then you
I
take
gotta
back
foreclose on them.
Then you take back the
I
property.
don't like doing that. I don't want to go after people. I don't want to be in a bad situation. I don't like to be.
You want people going after you?
I want people go after me?
Yeah.
What do you mean people going after me?
Well,
I pay all my bills, so nobody goes after me.
Right. You'll take on debt, but you will not release the debt. Like
I'll
you don't
take
want
on debt all day long because that makes sense for me. I make money on the bank's money. Plus, I'm able to spread my money out, much more by using the bank's money.
How much money do you have to buy a $30 million mansion?
Typically, you're going to have to qualify, but if you're going to buy a $30 million mansion, you're probably going to have to go out and get a jumbo loan. A jumbo loan is probably going to be at least 25%. Okay, 25% of $30 million, 10% is 3, 6, 7, 8 million down, and you have to qualify for the loan. You got to prove, how am I going to pay the loan? And then you got taxes, and then you got insurance. You got to make a substantial income to be able to buy a house like this. Or a lot of people that own houses that will buy a house like this typically, have that kind of cash that they want to just buy it or put a lot down, have very little mortgage.
So you're selling a $30 million mansion. You've had a handful of showings on average. The people that come see the property and want to buy it, how much money do they have?
Typically, I would think that the rule of thumb in banking is if you buy if your mortgage, let's figure it out. If your mortgage is going to be, let's say 20 million, right? 20 million, today's rate's probably about 6%.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's going to put you at $1.2 million a year, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
Yeah.
20 million is $1.2 million a year, is $100,000 a month.
Multiply by
Well,
3.
if you're making, if you got to pay a mortgage of $1.2 million a year, you probably got to be making over $3 million a year to qualify.
But even so, I heard that if you're buying like anything over 15 million, you don't really fit the 33% rule because those people kind of spread their money out a little bit more.
On their assets.
So realistically, like, wouldn't they, like, you have to have like $100 million like to justify a 30 million?
No, you wouldn't need $100 million. Listen, if you if you can prove you have stable income coming in of a few million a year, the bank will loan you,
I don't think someone who's worth $20 million is buying a $30 million house.
No.
Even if they have the income to do that.
I don't know. I mean, but no. Listen, yeah, you got to be somebody that it's not going to hurt you, and to buy this house. It's got to be somebody worth probably, like you said, 60, 70, 80, 100 million.
What about buying a $10 million house? How much do you have to be worth?
I mean, a $10 million house, I mean, I would think you have to be worth minimum $20 million.
You think that's responsible if you're worth $20 million to spend 10 on a house?
Depends on what your income is, too. It's not just a question of your worth. Okay, you can be worth a lot of money, but, what's your income? What's your returns? What's your investments? The bank looks at the whole picture.
In owning a $30 million, 20,000 square foot house, how much does this cost you per year for random things?
Now, I gotta say, one thing that I've noticed by talking to a lot of entrepreneurs is that all of them want to use AI, but they don't know how it'll actually work inside their business. Like, it's one thing to use AI to write an email, but it's another to have it handle incoming calls, set appointments, answer questions, and talk to customers in real time.
And that's where today's sponsor, 11 Agents by 11 Labs, comes in. It's a platform that lets businesses build real-time AI voice agents for sales, support, operations, inbound calls, and more.
What's really impressive is just how fast it is to set up. You could launch voice agents in minutes, and they could speak in over 70 languages. Here's an example.
¿Podrías decirme qué tipo de ayuda necesitas?
It also works with tools businesses already use like Salesforce, HubSpot, Zendesk, Google Calendar, and Twilio. So instead of having to change up your entire workflow, it fits right into the systems that you already have.
And you could train these agents using your own knowledge base, SOPs, and policies. That way, the responses seem consistent within your business instead of just sounding generic.
Plus, with expressive mode, they give you way more control over the tone and delivery, so the conversations sound way more natural and human.
So try out 11 Agents by going to 11labs.io/iced coffee hour to get started today for free. Again, that link is down below in the description. Thank you so much. Now let's get back to the episode.
How much does this cost you per year for random things?
I mean, number one, a house like this, it pretty much requires 2 full-time housekeepers.
So you have 2 full-time staff members here that...
I always had 2 full-time housekeepers for 20-something years. But yeah, this house definitely, you need it, because you got to maintain everything.
What's the cost of that?
Whether you use the house or not that much.
What does a housekeeper do?
I mean, what do you mean? Every day they got to wash
Cleaning,
clothes, they got to
cooking.
clean bathrooms, they got to make beds, laundry. I mean, everything. Go through the whole house, make sure everything's neat, clean, and kept up,
So that's going to be $100,000 a year just in cleaning the house.
I mean, it could be, yeah. I mean, I don't know how much they make, but it's a significant expense. Then you're always going to be on top of all the maintenance and stuff. You got to have money for maintenance. Now, I did rip out all the lawns, put fake lawns in, so I cut the landscaping down to 0, and I'm lucky my guys could pop over here and trim whatever I need.
Mm-hmm.
Once a year, you got to do the trees. That's going to cost you no more than a few grand. It's not tremendous, but the tax bill is significant. It's over $250,000 a year. And then insurance, you have insurance, and
how much is the insurance?
Utilities. Insurance, I don't think is much. It's probably about $25,000 a year because I don't have much insurance. Typically, somebody would probably spend more than that. Probably 40 or something like that.
And what about pricing the neighborhood? Like different contractors, when they give you a quote to replace a door as opposed to someone else, if they're walking into a 20,000 square foot massive estate, like they could jack up the prices a lot. Have you noticed any of this?
Yeah, of course. You always got to know what the industry cost is for anything you're fixing in life. No matter what. You got to know what's the industry, and with AI today, I'll even tell you. But, you got to be careful not to get taken advantage of people that want to overinflate your bill because you live in a big fancy place.
What's the craziest quote you've ever gotten for a repair?
From small to big. I've had companies that, we have what they call a restaurant system here. The whole house is run by computers. They want to charge $100 an hour just to talk to you on the phone. So, that seemed a little ridiculous to me. I got a simple question for you. You're going to bill me for $100 minimum, to talk to you. Anyway, I mean, listen, everything you do, you got to look at your options, what your options are. Basically, whenever I hire anybody in any aspect, I think about time, how long does it take to do the job, materials, overhead, and profit. Okay? And I come up with a realistic price that should be fair for everybody. Okay? If it's a 2-hour job and the guy's making whatever, he bills the guy out at, $50 an hour. I don't know these days with plumbers, electricians. I don't know. All right. So you got a couple of hours with a plumber, that could be $100, $200. Then you got the materials. Is a toilet? All right, well, what toilet do I want? Toilet could be another $200. Then you got overhead and profit, even though he's already making money over billing out the guy from what he's paying him. So you come up with some sort of, realistic number that makes sense.
People are kind of scared to ask the contractor, like, how much did this cost you? How much upcharge are you having? Like to see
or
how much
can you even trust them?
Yeah, can you even trust
The
what they're
problem is, number one, you can do a lot of homework on your own. All right? With today's technology, you can figure out what it takes to fix almost anything. And then basically, listen, if a contractor is not willing to be transparent with you, 9 times out of 10, he's ripping you off.
So you should ask.
And you should be able to figure it out for yourself. The other day, on top of our LA Fitness down the road here, we have this giant metal crown thing that's like a design. It just sits on the roof. Some special design they came up with. All the LA Fitnesses have them. It needed a paint job. All right. The guy throws me some crazy number out there. I said, listen, just because it's on top of an LA Fitness, anyway, the long story short is we sat on a phone and I said, okay. He says, well, I need a lift. I said, okay, how much is the lift going to cost you? All right, I need a lift for 2 days to do that job. Fine. How much is the lift going to cost you for 2 days? I could call up and find out myself. All right, we figured out what that was. It was like, I don't know, be delivered and picked up, $1,000. Then, what's the paint cost? All right, we do need special paint so it doesn't rust again like it did, and there might be some prep work. It's probably a 2-day job for about a couple of guys. All right, a couple of guys, a couple of painters. Maybe they're worth $300 a day. That's 3, 6, 9, 12. Make it 1,500 in labor. What the hell? I'm always a little. We got 1,500 labor. We got $1,000 for the lift. It's 2,500. The paint is probably only a couple of hundred, few $100. Or up to $2,000. He's got to make 20%. Another $500. The jobs cost $2,500.
And what do he quote you?
5,000. We settled at 3.
So you fully went on it. Hey, itemized expenses. Tell me how much everything.
It's not, everything is accessible these days. You know how much stuff costs. You simply go online and figure out how to buy it. Even a part for my boat, I will look up the part number and see what it would cost me to buy that part. Okay? And in boats, you got to be really careful. Boats, planes, I can't do much about it. You can't argue with the plane guys. Cars, I do. My son, my partner that raised me in real estate, left to my son when he passed away his Rolls Royce, Vincent, the black one.
Wow.
He loved the car. But the car was starting to get old. And, fixing an old Rolls Royce can be very expensive. He went to the dealership because he needed some kind of turbo injectors and this and that. $40,000. That's what the dealership wanted. Luckily, I got a friend down in Orlando who is in the car business. And he knows a mechanic that used to run a dealership, but started his own company, his own auto repair. Right? We had the car put on a truck. We shipped it down to Orlando. And the guy looks at it. He says, you know what? I could rebuild these. We spent $4,000
No way.
Instead of $40,000. And then we sold the car. There's more going to keep going.
Yeah, of course.
And then I gave him my Bentley. I said, I'll tell you what, sell your Rolls Royce, I'll give you my Bentley. There you go, done. So that just goes to show you, 40,000 compared to 4,000. That's the way it goes with everything. You gotta spend your money wisely. You can't spend money, on anything significant unless you do your homework. Everything is home. Oh, stop it.
Just hit Jack instead.
All right, you got to do your homework. All right, anything you spend your money on, before you part with a penny, do your homework. Make sure you're not getting ripped off. In our company, we have a rule. We have to get 3 bids on everything. I got $1 million worth of AC work I got to get done on a university I bought. Well, I had contacted 3 different AC companies and make sure they're all bidding on it. Like when my son built a building, I was impressed. He had 7 contractors bid on exactly what he needed done. And then he compared each bid. Now they played their little games where they're high on one thing and low on another. But in the end, you got to pick the guy that he's not sticking it to you, at least not too much.